Hey, what's good, comic fans? This is Confire Comics, and we're here bringing you another spoiler talk. We just saw Season 2, Episode 1 of The Flash, and we're here to talk about it. I'm Confire Rich.
And I'm Confire Nate, and we are off to an interesting start. Rich, what did you think about this episode?
To be honest, overall, I was a little underwhelmed. I was actually expecting just a little bit more from the first season. I was so amped up for it, and it kind of left me wanting like a lot more. But to start out, I didn't care for the isolation. I'm bored to death of that. It's gotten stale. I'm exhausted completely between the Flash and the Arrow. And what I mean by isolation is the hero is always like, my friends die, I'm going to go at it alone, and they throw this pity party. And it's like, okay, we did that in season 1. We've done it in every single season of the Arrow. And quite frankly, I'm just ready to move past it. Yeah. I mean, this is war. Everybody's a soldier and they sign up for it. Everybody knows the risk. Everybody's volunteered. Just as sad as it is that people pass away, let's just move on from that. Let's have the team. Let's get together because that's when it's at its best. They kind of went dark. Like, they kind of went dark with it at the beginning, and that's not the Flash. That's why I like the Flash so much, because it was a little bit more uplifting, and they had a little bit more fun with this superhero team-up type deal.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's an old hat. I mean, I'm tired of that. I'm tired with the old, someone passed away. I need to go, be by myself. I mean, it gets old, so I'm glad they wrapped it up quick. I didn't want this to drag on through the whole season. I like how they, try to knock it out real quick and move on from it, because I don't know if I want to deal with that all season long for sure.
Yeah, they definitely wrapped it up, and I did like that, how the team was almost immediately like, yeah, you know what? We're not going to ask any more questions. We're just going to jump right in. We're going to do it. And everybody was on board, and they didn't dwell on it, and I was thankful for that, so it allows it to be a little bit more forgiving. On those regards, that they didn't waste so much time with him moping. But they did have 6 months. So we did pick up after 6 months, which is a good thing, that we didn't have to drudge out 6 months of moping.
Yeah.
Now, we've moved on, and they finally showed what happened and how they, beat the event or whatever that was that took place, the black hole that opened up. And turns out that Firestorm went in there, separated to cause a reaction to stop it. And died. So Firestorm's dead. Somebody who hasn't read all the Flash comics and is not super familiar with all that, Nate, do you think he's dead? Did he die? What's up with that? Are we not going to get him anymore?
I'm assuming that, that being like the portal to different world. I mean, I know we're going to see Ronnie Raymond at some point, I would imagine. In the comics, okay. Ronnie Raymond and Jason Roush, who was actually a part of last season for just a little bit, are actually formed together to create Firestorm. So now that him and Stein are separated, it gives Stein the ability to kind of, be like the Dr. Wells character, except without the...
Right, I kind of felt the same way.
Right, so he's there just to kind of help and kind of, give his insight. So I'm okay with that. I'm sure we're going to revisit that at some point, going forward. That's for sure.
All right, well, that's good, because I really liked Firestorm. Like, I liked him a lot. He didn't have a lot of screen time, but I was interested a lot in that character. And that comment about, him, Dr. Stein's kind of being Dr. Wells, I noticed that immediately. I was like, oh, they've got another, super genius, that can help out this team. I thought that was really neat. The bad guy, again, wasn't impressed. I mean, to me, was just a throwaway bad guy. I wasn't invested, involved. They didn't even spend much time figuring out how to beat him. It was just kind of a very side note to this episode.
Well, a lot of people won't realize the character was Atom Smasher. And people who are familiar with comics, Atom Smasher is actually a character. He's kind of an anti-hero in the comics. I mean, you could probably kind of put him beside like Black Adam. He's kind of like a bad guy, or he's kind of a good guy, but he has moments where he might kill somebody or be bad or something like that. He actually spent some time on the Justice Society of America, which is kind of like like the B or the C class Justice League group, basically. It was kind of a hat tip to people who might know who he is. And showing him, but again, I'm not entirely sure if we've seen the last of him either, or what's the deal. Basically, I don't know if he was. I mean, apparently, it seemed like he came through another dimension as well. But as this is going on, you're kind of getting some hints. Also, like what's going on with Cisco. Cisco's having this little kind of a moment, and he sees Atom Smasher, and he kind of sees him in this like little flash. And for people who don't know, Cisco Ramon is he eventually turns into Vibe, who is a like D-class superhero, in the DC universe. I'm not sure if they're going to explore that, but I kind of have a feeling they are, because they're hitting on it.
Yeah.
That he definitely has some type of ability, like he can kind of sense things. So I'm interested for him to explore that and kind of see, what goes on with that. But I definitely feel like that's going to be part of the story this year.
Good. I hope it's not I forgot until the season come out. This episode, and they had. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he kind of got affected too. He's got powers. I hope if they explore, which I feel like they're going to, that it's just very complimentary to the Flash and not like I'm going to get my own suit and I'm going to go out and do all these crazy things. Just in a very supportive role, so that it's not just over the top, super flooded with superheroes and supervillains all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What did you think about that little? The bat signal, like when they showed, I was like, yo, did they for real make a bat signal? And it almost upset me. And then they kind of like joked about themselves about, I saw it in a comic book. So.
That was just a little tip of the hat. That was just for those who are fans of, DC Universe, that was just a little, hey, we know, people who don't know, like, well, I don't understand, that was just a little tip. That's all that was.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of neat. Well, moving on, I thought the confession was nice from Dr. Wells, because I was concerned, like in my mind, I was like, okay, we got to get his dad out of jail. The Flash is a Flash. The city is on his side. They now realize that you have these metahumans out there and these crazy events can happen. And people are starting to believe the unbelievable. So now that with that being said, the Flash as a Flash, could he not have gone and said, hey, I witnessed the murder of this guy, or of his wife. He's not the murderer. And so they brought him out. I like that. They kind of wrapped that up. I didn't like, however, how the dad just bailed. I mean, come on, man. You've been in jail this whole time. What did they say? Like 14 or 15 years he's been in jail, missing his son. He loves his son. He gets out, and the day he's out, he's like, son, I got to leave. You can't be you with that. Make this dramatic. Like, I don't know. It's kind of bothered me the way that it went down.
Yeah.
But we kind of get it. We get that you don't need another character in there, another father figure to worry about. So maybe they could have drug it out for a couple of seasons, give him a girlfriend, and then maybe they move off or something. But whatever.
I mean,
what do you think about that?
I was okay that they got rid of it. I felt like it was just one of those narratives that I didn't need. I felt like it was time wasted that could be better spent on other things. So I was okay with them kind of getting rid of him. Again, having him in the original season was just a little nod, because he played the original Flash in the old TV series. So it was just kind of nice to have him a part of it. He did his part. He fulfilled it. Now they're moving on. I think that's a good thing. Again, it was kind of weak and sloppy the way they wrapped it up. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. But I'm just going to be glad it's done, and I'm looking forward to what's coming next for sure.
Yeah, I guess so, because if it was, it'd just be another story element that we would have to deal with, another emotional, my father's in danger. And so I guess if he's out of the picture for the most part, obviously he'll make a return in different stuff, episodes or whatnot. But for now, I think you're right. Just get all this stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
We move on, and they're talking about the security of this facility. We're finally back. He's on board with the team. They've stopped the bad guy. And it was like, all right, good. The team's coming back together, and they're talking about how secure this facility is. Nobody's just going to waltz in here. And then this guy pops in, and it's funny because you have Cisco. Cisco's just like, for real? I don't know if people caught that, but it was really quick. And like, I laughed. I was like, okay, dude, Cisco I kind of like. He's got a nice comedic timing with a lot of his stuff. And the dude's announced himself. I'm Jay Eric. I think that's what he said his name was.
Garrick.
Who?
Jay Garrick.
Garrick. All right. Again, since I didn't read the comic books, I don't know. For your casual fans out there who happen to be watching this, I have no idea who that is. Obviously, he says, where I'm from, they call me the Flash. And I'm like, all right, another dimension. Whatever. I didn't know. Nate, tell me, who is this guy?
Okay, when the original Flash comic came out in 1940, Jay Garrick was the Flash. Okay, Barry Allen didn't become the Flash until I want to say 1956. I want to say was when Barry Allen was the new Flash.
Okay.
Jay Garrick, they've had, different storylines cross, like he was this, he retired, things like that. But it looks like they're going to go with the parallel universe kind of situation, Earth 2, Earth 1. And from the way it looks, is that Jay Garrick is the he's the Flash from Earth 2, basically, from a parallel universe.
Okay.
Which is also kind of something that they've done in the comics before. So, the big singularity, it looks like it pulled him here. And I think that's going to be the main storyline throughout this this season, is what's going on with him. How he was brought here. How can people leave? I mean, so there's a lot going on with this season. So.
All right. I guess that's introduced for Zoom, the guy they talked about, Zoom. You think Zoom is probably from the same world that Jay the Flash, I'm going to call him Jay the Flash, is from.
Well, Zoom.
And also maybe the Atom guy, because they said he died and they couldn't figure it out. And then Atom Smasher was like, you wouldn't believe me. He told me he'd take me home, whatever. So.
Right. Zoom is, I'm assuming, Dr. Zoom, which is another name or a parallel version of the Reverse Flash.
Okay.
Or Eobard Thawne. I mean, that's what I'm assuming. When he said Zoom, I'm thinking Professor Zoom. I'm thinking Reverse Flash, alternate reality, Jay Garrick's Eobard Thawne. That's what I'm thinking here. That's.
And he come to kill this guy in the other universe, maybe for whatever. I guess we'll see, but I guess that makes sense.
That's what I'm thinking.
So now that we kind of got that, so. Review this overall underwhelmed. Like I said at the beginning, you wanted a little bit more out of your opener for season 2. On the plus side, we don't have to go through the pity party. The team's together. They're feeling good. We've kind of know where people are at. We've got a new villain that did get introduced. I guess it actually makes the episode better if you know all these little hints with the comics, which your casual viewers probably are not going to. But with that being said, new villain coming through an alternate reality. We got the old Flash, and if you saw the preview afterward, like the sneak peek for the next, the old Flash or the alternate Flash is going to be teaching Barry Allen some cool stuff. Like, I'm going to teach you how to defeat him. So now he gets to go through a training montage and learn how to get even better as a Flash, which I am actually really excited for. So I'm assuming episode 2 is going to be even better than episode 1, and that's what you want. People, like, comment, subscribe, man. Get in the conversation. Let us know, do you think Firestorm is dead for good, or are we going to see him? Is he going to team up with somebody else? Are you excited? Until next time, we out.
See ya.